Hey, kia ora, Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Rossville, Georgia. Hope you're all having a super fantastic, sparkling start to your day. Wow, what a day. I was trying to figure out what to talk about today for the mindset, and I was just tootling around on the internet there, and there's a lot of stuff out there right now, and I don't want to get into politics or anything like that. I don't want to make comments, take sides or anything like that, but just know that it's weighing heavy on my heart as to what's going on. That's all I'm going to say about it. I'm not one for violence. I'm a closet tree hugger. Go hug a tree. So I came across this quote, and it was sort of like, it literally took my breath away when I read this quote. So the mindset today is all about perspective. And the quote that I found today, which just absolutely knocked me on my back, well, I was already sitting down anyway. Okay, knocked the breath out of me. When I looked at it, I thought, oh my gosh, that is so, it encompasses everything that I feel right now. Yes, I'm still super fantastic and sparkling. Yes, every day still has some sort of sparkle in it somewhere along the way. But, you know, there's a lot of stuff going on right now. And then this quote hit me and literally knocked the breath out of me. And the quote comes from somebody called Christine Caine. I haven't had a chance to look up to see who she is or who she is, but her quote is, sorry, my dog's now gone on she's running away from her chew stick. She's got a chew stick on the floor and she comes at it and like she's going to attack it and then takes off. Okay, back to the serious stuff. I tell you, she's my spark of my day. What can I say? So this person, Christine Caine, like I said, I haven't looked her up to see who she is or anything, but this quote that I just happened to stumble across today just literally knocked the wind out of me. And it says, sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. Think about that. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, when you feel like you've got the weight of the world on your shoulders and everything else, but you've actually only just been planted so that you can grow, learn, grow, be fertilized, be that seed that fell on the fertile soil, and you can just grow and thrive. And so sometimes the dark place isn't so dark. And then I look back, and when I read that quote, it got me thinking back everything that I've been over the last few years, you know, dealing with Brad's cancer, dealing with his passing, all the stuff that's gone on in between and everything else, all the dark places that has taken me. And I thought, you know, I actually was buried at the time. I was buried. I was buried under all the weight of everything. And there was times that I was slipping into depression. But when I read that quote, it was like an awakening. It was, and I only read it like 5 minutes ago. It was like an awakening. It was sort of like, oh my gosh, that whole time when I felt like the world was on my shoulders and I felt depressed and felt like I was getting buried under a whole pile of crap, I was actually buried under a whole pile of fertilizer because I had been planted to grow and to come out and shine and let my light shine. And you know, there's the parable of the sower. And Jim Rohn's got a fantastic YouTube. If you go on YouTube, Jim Rohn has a fantastic video about the story of the sower, where, you know, you throw it, and he relates it to business, but you can relate it to any aspect in your life. You know, are you the seed that falls on the dry ground that doesn't get a chance to take root? Are you the seed that falls in on the stony ground and you put down some roots, but the sun comes out and you wither and die? Or are you the seed that falls amongst the thistles where you start growing and everything else, but the thistles just choke you out? Or thorns, same things. They're weeds. Or do you fall on the fertile soil where you come out and you just thrive and multiply and keep growing and learning and growing and turning into an incredible human being and becoming the best that you can ever be? So, you know, have you been planted? Think about that. When I started thinking about that and thinking of all the stuff that I've been through, even times before I met Brad and times with Brad, and that there was some dark places that I had been and stuff, and I thought about it and I thought, you know, I actually came out of those things stronger than when I went in. And Brad, you know, and you've heard the story before where Brad always asked me, you know, if we could do this over again, what would you change? And I would tell him nothing. And he goes, not even me getting cancer. I'd say, no, not even you getting cancer. He says, why? I said, because we wouldn't be the amazing people that we are today had it not been for cancer. I said, look at all the people that we've met because of cancer. Look at all the new friends, the amazing, incredible, lifelong friends we now have in our lives because of cancer. I said, look at our relationship and how stronger it's grown because of cancer. You know, cancer to some people is a curse. To us, it was a huge blessing. Yes, it was a dark patch, but that's what it was. It was a patch. It didn't come. Yes, it kind of took over our lives a little bit, but we kept growing. We kept growing through it. And when I look at that and said, you know, we're actually being planted, yeah, that cancer was a dark patch, but we kept growing through that time and sprouting and growing, and we're still growing. And he's fertilizing from a different perspective now, but that's okay. It's okay. He's with me in spirit, and that's fine. So I love that quote. Sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. So think about that. When you feel like you're in a dark place, just wait. You're getting fertilized. So just take a moment to pause and think about that. So your mindset today is all about perspective and thinking about, you know, have you been planted? Are you waiting to sprout forth? You know, when you sit there and you learn things, it's to take you places. It's going to take you places. So anything that you go through brings you out stronger than when you started. You're a different person. Any situation that you go through, any trials and tribulations you go through, you come out of it stronger than when you went into it. You come out a different person. You have grown through that dark patch. So today it's all about growing through the dark patch. So look at the dark places as in a different light, and the fact that you're not buried, you're actually being planted. So that's your mindset for today. Business is all about planning, getting ready for the following week. What fun stuff you got coming up. Look at this. Look at your goals for June. How are you doing on your June goals? And let's get some stuff into the calendars for this week. Start blocking out time periods in your calendar to do those 1 hour of revenue generating activities where you've got the place all locked down and locked up so you can't be disturbed. No answering emails, no answering the phones, no answering messages, anything like that. It's just that 1 hour of solid. Yes, you may be making calls because you're doing follow-up on quotes and stuff, but yeah, get your planning done for the following week so it's all done, so tomorrow you can relax. And then the fun thing today is it's all about getting out and getting some fresh air. I get out there at minimum twice a day to get some fresh air. Yes, it's a little on the humid side. Yes, it's a little on the warm side, but I'm out amongst the trees. You've seen the pictures out of the front of the RV here. We've got this great green area out the front there. There's all these trees around, so it's great just to get out there and just breathe and go hug a tree. When did you last hug a tree? This is something about hugging a tree. You just go up to it, wrap your arms around it, and just breathe. And just be still. It's actually an incredible feeling. Go hug a tree today. And on an extra note, I woke up this morning and I looked at the day and went, June 6th, June 6th, June 6th. And it kept bugging me. I was like, what is so important about today? And so I finally, it finally drove me to the point that I got online and wrote in June 6th. And it's like, oh, that's why today's so important. So there are several things that happen. So we're going to take you back in increments. So 5 years ago today, I landed in Auckland, New Zealand, on a week. That was after coming from the Cook Islands, because I was with part of a fam trip to the Cook Islands in New Zealand. We went down there. There was 8 agents and two vendors. So the 2 vendors had taken us down in New Zealand. We'd flown from the Cook Island, from LA down to the Cook Islands. We had spent 3 nights in the Cook Islands. We then flew across to New Zealand, where we landed in Auckland 5 years ago today to start our 3 nights in Auckland. And it'll be a year ago tomorrow that I got to meet up with my parents in Rotorua, and they always say it was an hour. Well, it took us 20 minutes to walk down. We had a little longer than an hour. But I ended up with meeting with them for like 2 to 3 hours. So in total. So if my parents are watching this, it's in total from when I walked in the door at the hotel to when you left was like 2 to 3 hours. But we had a great time just catching up because I hadn't seen them for a while. So it was good to catch up with them. Then 9 years ago today, Brad walked across the stage with the Phoenix University, where he had graduated with honors in the Bachelor of Computer Information. I'll say that's what it was. Years ago when he was at USC, I better get that right, USC. If I said the other one, he would have struck me from behind. Years ago when he was at USC, he actually left, and all he had was like 4 math credits left to do, and he never went back to do them. And so while he was battling cancer, he started at the University of Phoenix and went through and got a bachelor in computer information with honors. So I was very proud of him, and watching him walk across the stage was just an awesome feeling. That was 9 years ago today. 10 years ago today, we had our farewell party in Virginia. We had a whole bunch of friends come out and join us for an afternoon, and we're at, oh jeepers, I can picture the restaurant in my head, and I know they have now changed names. I can't remember what the new name is, and I, for the life of me, can't remember what the old name was, but it was a fantastic, then it was an Italian restaurant, now it's a Persian restaurant, and now my friends Ray and Anna did a phenomenal job that day of hosting everybody at the restaurant, and it's, I should have looked up the name beforehand because I totally cannot remember. It's just like a mind blank, but Ray and Anna did a phenomenal job of hosting us there that day. And unbeknown to me and unbeknown to them, they had this music video playing in the background, and I stopped and I looked at it and went, oh my gosh. It was one of my favorite singers of all time, which is Cliff Richard. He's a British singer. It was the DVD they had playing, and I said to Ray, just put it on loop. Just put it on loop for the whole afternoon. It was a concert he did to celebrate 60 years in the music industry. And he was it 60 years? No, hang on, 50 years. Hang on, I'm trying to remember. Shoot. Brain freeze. He's like 70 something, coming up, just turned, my gosh, I used to know all this information like off the top of my head. I think it was celebrating his 60 years in the music industry, and he's like 75 years old, strutting around on stage. And actually, he was 19 when he was discovered, so he was like 69 years old, running around on stage celebrating. No, sorry. Oh God, I don't remember. 50 years. Must have been 50 years, because he would have been 69. So and he had just had his 70th birthday. Yeah, something like that. Because he was 19 when he was discovered, so he just had his 70th birthday, and the thing that was up there on the screen was his 50th anniversary concert of celebrating 50 years in the music industry. And they call him the Peter Pan of pop, because it looked like he never aged, and he always looked good. He always has a ton of energy when he's on stage. So he was up there, and it was just sort of like, it just made my day. It made it really good, and going around and meeting a lot of people and talking with a lot of people, and it was a fantastic afternoon. We had a great time, and always grateful to Ray and Anna for hosting that event at their restaurant. It was just an incredible time. I totally wish I could remember the name. And then 76 years ago today, 76 years ago today means that today I'm going to be watching the movie The Longest Day, because 76 years ago today, on June 6, 1944, the Normandy invasion began overnight. I'm going to read this because it's going to be going up on a post shortly. So it said this. The date is Tuesday, June 6, 1944. The Normandy invasion began overnight with parachute and glider landings, massive air attacks, and naval bombardments. In the early morning, amphibious landings on 5 beaches codenamed Juneau, Gold, Omaha, Utah, and Sword began. It has been 76 years since the day that changed World War II. So many people and so many moving pieces involved in the planning and execution of this event, and they somehow managed to pull this off, this huge surprise attack. My mind still boggles at what the Allies were able to accomplish. To all of them who participated, your actions will not be forgotten, and we will forever be grateful. So it was 76 years ago that we had the invasion of Normandy, which means being June 6th. The other reason I remembered it was June 6th is because June 6th I always watch the movie The Longest Day as my way of commemorating the event. One of these days I will get to Normandy and actually be there for the go and visit Normandy on June 6th, which will be kind of cool. It's one of my bucket list items. So that's it from me for today. A little heavy on something, I know, but you know, that quote from this morning that I just came across was, sometimes when you're in a dark place, you think you've been buried, but actually you've been planted. That's just such a cool quote. And then today being the 76th anniversary of the invasion of Normandy, it's going to, just take a moment at some point today just to pause and say thank you to all of those who participated in the invasion in Normandy, and to say thank you. That was, when I watched The Longest Day, and it still boggles my mind that what the Allies were able to pull off that day. The number of people involved in it, the planning that went into it, all the equipment. That was just epic. It just it boggles my mind when I think of, they had the parachutes, the glider landings, the air attacks, the bombardments, the amphibious landings, all those moving parts, all those people, and the Germans didn't have a clue. It just boggles my mind. And they didn't have computers back then. Probably wouldn't be able to keep it such a secret today. Maybe that's what helped a little bit, is the fact of the technology that they had at the time. But still, they were able to, you think about it, they didn't have the technology we have today, and yet they were able to coordinate. Just think of the coordination of all of that with the technology they had at the time, which was just radios and code words and stuff like that. And they knew that the enemy could be listening in at any time, and it just boggles my mind. And we've come so far since then. And but yeah, so those are your things for today. So your mindset is all about perspective. Look at yourself when you're in a dark time. Am I actually buried, or have I just been planted? Because if you've been planted, you'll continue to learn and grow. And every time you learn, you're fertilizing the growth that is taking place within you. So your mindset is all about the fact that it's perspective, that you've been planted. You're not in a dark place, you've just been planted. And you're being fertile, and everything that you are learning, or the stuff you're going through, is just fertilizer being piled on top of you to come out and be a better person than when you started this, whatever journey you're on. And then business, all about planning for the next week. Fun is get out in the fresh air, go hug a tree or two, and then just take a moment at some point today, just to say thank you to all of those that participated on June 6, 1944 in the invasion of Normandy, because that was a huge undertaking. And at some point today, I will be watching the movie The Longest Day, because it is something I always watch on June 6. Even though it's Hollywood, it's got some good moments in it. It's still a good movie, even though it's been Hollywoodized. Is that the right word? But still, The Longest Day is still a great movie, and it's an epic. I love it. And it's got Sean Connery in it. How can you not like anything with Sean Connery in it? Yes, that was a good movie. Anyway, I'm out of here. I've got a day to go. I got to get back on. I've got part 3 of my Facebook ads class today. It was an intense class last week, and I still don't fully understand what I learned last week. So it's going to be one of those things where I'll probably go back and watch time and time again, and my dog's sitting at the window going, as the RVs are leaving. But have a super fantastic sparkling day, and just remember that you've been planted, not buried. So go thrive, grow into an amazing people today, and just have a super fantastic sparkling day, and we will catch you guys later this evening. Oh, and don't forget, on this evening's Facebook Live, we will be revealing the winner of the photo caption contest. So go onto my page, scroll down. It was posted on Thursday. You'll see the picture of Zeffie there with the orange towel hanging out of her mouth. Best caption will win a personalized coffee mug or a personalized journal, winner's choice. And the winner, and it's the caption that has the most reactions to it, so likes, loves, cuddles, laughs, whatever. So the caption with the most, and we've got 2 currently tied at first place, currently tied at first place, and 2 tied at second place. Well, actually, I guess it'd be third, because if you have first place, if you have 2 people at first place, that takes up first and second place. So we've got 2 tied at first and 2 tied at third. So we need tiebreakers today. So go check out my Facebook page, cast your votes with reactions to the comments, put your own caption in there if you've come up with your own great captions so other people can come vote on it. But the winner will be revealed on tonight's Facebook Live at 4 p.m. Pacific, 7 p.m. Eastern. And then the winner gets to choose a personalised coffee mug or a personalised journal. And it's going to be awesome. There's some great captions on there too. Some of them have me laughing. So go put your creativity hats on and make a creative caption for that photo with Zephian. Until tonight, have a super fantastic sparkling day. He konera.